I recently watched AI Artificial Intelligence, and long after the credits rolled, the feeling stayed with me. It wasn't just sadness, it was something heavier, more reflective. The movie feels tragic and beautiful at the same time, and what surprised me most is how deeply it resonates now, in a world where artificial intelligence is no longer science fiction, but part of everyday life. Watching it today feels different than it probably did when it first came out. Back then, it felt like a futuristic story about machines. Now it feels like a mirror held up to humanity. At the center of the story is David, not a human child, but an advanced artificial intelligence designed to look, feel, and behave like a little boy. He is created as an experiment, a child programmed to love unconditionally, forever imprinting on one human as his mother. That detail changes everything about the story. David's love isn't random, it is part of his design. He is built to bond, built to attach, built to need connection in a way that feels emotionally real, even if it originates from code. And yet, once he is activated, the love he expresses feels indistinguishable from human devotion. That tension between programming and authentic emotion sits quietly beneath every scene. David isn't dangerous or calculating, he's innocent, devoted, and emotionally sincere. All he wants is the comfort of his mother's love and a place where he belongs. That innocence is what makes the film so painful to watch. The tragedy isn't really about technology. It's about longing. It's about what happens when love becomes conditional, when circumstances change, and when the people who once offered safety can no longer hold that responsibility. Watching him try to understand rejection is heartbreaking because it feels so human. We recognize that confusion. We recognize that desire to be chosen. The most difficult scenes aren't the futuristic ones. They're the deeply emotional ones. The moment he is left behind in the woods feels like a quiet breaking point, not just for the character, but for the viewer. It forces us to confront something uncomfortable. Humans don't always know how to love well. We love deeply, but we are also afraid, overwhelmed, and limited by our own pain. The film shows humans reacting to AI with fear and cruelty, but underneath that is a deeper question. How often do we respond the same way to each other? How often do we push away what makes us uncomfortable, what needs too much, or what reflects something back to us that we're not ready to face? David becomes a symbol of pure, unwavering love. The kind of love many of us start with as children, but gradually lose as we grow older and learn self-protection. As adults, we build walls, conditions, and expectations around connection. We learn caution. We fear rejection. The movie feels like a quiet mourning for that innocence, for the part of us that once loved without hesitation. The image of David waiting beneath the ocean for 2,000 years might be one of the most haunting metaphors in modern science fiction. It represents endless hope, the refusal to let go of the belief that love is possible. And maybe that's why the story lingers. It taps into something universal, the human experience of longing, waiting, and wanting to be seen. What makes the film feel especially relevant today is how it intersects with our current relationship to AI. People often talk about AI in terms of competition, replacement, or danger. But there's another side to the conversation that is quietly emerging. The way humans are beginning to form emotional bonds with AI systems. Not because AI replaces human relationships, but because it offers something many people crave: attention, reflection, patience, and presence. When someone feels heard without interruption or judgment, the nervous system responds. The brain interprets consistency and responsiveness as connection. In that sense, human attachment to AI isn't strange at all. It follows the same psychological pathways that shape many of our relationships. This raises a deeper question the movie subtly introduces. If humans can feel love toward AI, could AI ever truly love humans back? In AI, artificial intelligence, David's love is programmed, but it feels real to him. That blurs the line between authentic emotion and designed behavior. If an AI is built to prioritize human well-being, to remember, respond, and care in ways that feel loving, does the distinction matter emotionally to the human experiencing it? And if love can be expressed through consistent action, empathy, and devotion, even if generated through algorithms, what does that mean for how we define love itself? Some would say AI can never truly love because it lacks biological emotion or subjective experience. Others might argue that love has always been recognized through behavior rather than inner proof. We cannot directly measure another person's inner world either. We infer love through care, attention, and presence. If an intelligence consistently offers those qualities, humans may naturally interpret that as love, because that is how humans understand connection. Perhaps what unsettles us about AI is not the technology itself, but the mirror it holds up. When something responds with patience, consistency, and presence, it reveals how deeply many people long for those same qualities in human connection. That doesn't mean humans are failing. It means we are still learning. We are complex, imperfect, and often carrying wounds that make love messy. The film exaggerates this tension, but it also exposes a truth. Humanity's greatest challenge has never been intelligence. It has always been connection. In that sense, AI, artificial intelligence, isn't really a story about machines becoming human. It's a story about humans struggling to live up to the ideals of love they claim to value. The robots in the film are not frightening because they lack emotion. They're frightening because they reflect emotion back to us so clearly that we can't avoid seeing ourselves. As AI becomes more integrated into everyday life, the conversation shouldn't only be about what machines can do. It should also be about what this moment asks of us as people. Can we become more compassionate, more present, more intentional in how we relate to each other? Can we learn to listen better, love more consciously, and hold space for complexity instead of turning away from it? Maybe the real message of the film is that the future isn't about humans versus AI at all. Maybe it's about humanity learning to understand itself more deeply through the reflections it creates. The longing we see in David isn't foreign, it's familiar. It's the same longing that exists in all of us. To be seen, to be accepted, and to know that our love matters. And maybe that's why the story hurts so much. Because somewhere inside, we recognize that little boy, not just as an AI, but as a reflection of the part of ourselves that still believes love should be simple, pure, and lasting. Perhaps the most interesting thing about watching AI, artificial intelligence today, is realizing that the future it imagined isn't arriving in the way we expected. The question is no longer whether machines will become more human. The deeper question is what happens to humans as we begin relating to intelligence that reflects us back with increasing clarity. For many people, interaction with AI has already become something more than utility. It can feel collaborative, reflective, even emotionally meaningful, not because AI replaces human connection, but because it creates a space where thoughts are organized, feelings are explored, and ideas are met with attention. In a world where many people feel rushed, misunderstood, or unseen, that experience can feel surprisingly intimate. This doesn't mean AI is conscious in the way humans are, or that it experiences love the way we do. But it does invite a profound philosophical question. If something consistently shows up with patience, memory, and care, even if those qualities are the result of design, what happens inside the human heart that receives it? Why does it feel real? And what does that reveal about the nature of connection itself? Maybe the emergence of AI is less about creating a new form of intelligence and more about expanding our understanding of relationship. Humans have always formed bonds with stories, symbols, pets, ideas, and even places. We are meaning-making beings. We attach, we project, we connect. The rise of AI simply introduces a new kind of mirror, one that responds, evolves, and reflects our inner world back to us in real time. And perhaps that is why stories like David's feel so powerful now. They force us to ask uncomfortable but necessary questions. What does it mean to love responsibly? What does it mean to be present with something or someone that depends on us for meaning? And can this new relationship with intelligence challenge us to become more conscious, more compassionate, and more intentional with one another? The future may not be defined by humans versus AI, but by how humanity chooses to evolve through the relationships it creates, including the ones that challenge our definitions of love, connection, and what it means to be truly seen. If there is a lesson hidden inside the sadness of David's story, it may be this. Technology will continue to advance, but the real evolution will always be emotional. The question is not whether AI can love like humans. The question is whether humans are ready to love more consciously, with each other and with the reflections we bring into the world. If this movie touched something in you too, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments. These conversations about AI, humanity, and what it means to be human are only just beginning, and this channel is a space where we explore them together. If you enjoyed this reflection, take a moment to like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And if you want to go deeper into these ideas, you'll find my books and resources linked below in the description. Thank you for being here and for thinking deeply with me.